Your angels are speaking to you. Do you hear them? Welcome to The Calling of Light with author and empathic spiritual tarot reader Anne-Marie Odell. The Calling of Light offers direct, empathic insight and relatable spiritual topics, interviews with special spiritual guests, and straight-talk call-in readings. Kick back and enjoy free-form spirit tea with Anne-Marie, the way you like it best when you want to simplify. Here is your host, Anne-Marie Odell.
Thanks for joining me for Spirit Tea with Black Hills Dream songwriter, healer, and Lakota, Dakota, Nakota, historian Bunny Sings Wolf. I should warn you, the ghost voice of Chief Richard Grass will also be joining us. You can hardly speak to Bunny without feeling Chief Richard's spiritual energy all around her.
I pray for peace to come, true peace to come for all my relations all around the world. Peace for the four-leggeds, peace for the things that fly, peace for all the many things that cry. I pray for peace to come, true peace to come for all my relations all around the world. Peace in the heart, peace in the home, peace for all the many things that grow. I pray for peace to come, true peace to come for all my relations all around the world. Peace in all the skies, peace in all the earth, peace for all the mothers who give birth. I pray for peace to come, true peace to come for all my relations all around the world. May I promote peace, may I live for peace, may I look for that peace that will not end. I pray true peace to come for all my relations all around the world, all around the world, all around the world, all around the world, all around the
Where are you located? And tell me how you fit into that area.
I live 9 miles from Mato Tipala. Mato means bear, Tipala means lodge or home, the home of bear. And the underlying meaning of this sacred place, sacred Lakota, Dakota, Nakota nation, our spiritual cultural ways, is that it represents the home of healing, fierce medicine for healing. Back in the day when the buffalo were being slaughtered in the Black Hills and in our treaty lands here in Wyoming, South Dakota, my relatives had signed the 1876 treaty. Colonel Dodge and his folks had come out from Fort Dodge with mineralogists, and they renamed this place. They named it Devil's Tower, and it was made into the nation's first national monument. In an interesting way, it's such a powerful negative name that it kind of thrills me. It's a kind of a backwards Heyoka sort of a way, because it is our most sacred place. And my relatives have stories that at one time, millions of years ago, it was actually the tree of life that had been chopped down when there were giants on the earth and warfare. But it's always been considered by indigenous people for centuries as a healing place. And people would travel hundreds and hundreds of miles when all they could do was walk to get here to do healing ceremonies, to pray for, in our language, mitakuye oyasi, which means we're all related, we're all one, we're all part of the wholeness of life. The cosmos is a beautiful place to be living. I feel so grateful and energized every day because of the healing that this place represents. And so I live about 9 miles from it. I get to see it every day, take pictures.
And you are a healer also, Bunny, aren't you?
Yes, I was mentored 7 generations of what we call stonewalkers, medicine women, but it was a ceremony to put warm and cool stones on people, and the relatives would come, usually done beside a stream, and the warm stones were in the sun and the cool stones in the water. And there's it's a whole lifetime of training. You're kind of born with this, and I wasn't allowed to even begin to learn how to practice this till after menopause. That was a traditional way. And I was one of 3 people that the woman who mentored me took under her wing. She mentored me the old way, and I was a massage therapist before that, so it just all fit in. And what's really amazing is all the stones that I use in my treatment are stones I've collected since I was a little kid.
Wow.
So,
Can you explain to me why it would be that you can't know until you've experienced menopause?
because in the childbearing years, menopausal years, there's so many distractions, activities, and learnings. I mean, it takes a whole lifetime sometimes for us to awaken to our purpose here on Mother Earth. We're spiritual beings having physical experience. So it takes a long time to remember why we're here. And then after menopause, all the energies come into our purpose. And so the power of true femininity and womanhood actually happens after the menopausal time. And that's when we have this wisdom that we can carry in a totally focused way for future generations.
Did the women of that stage of their life also have an influential say in decisions?
Yes, I'd done an interview several years ago at the Tower and explained, because they said, what is one thing you want to tell us about the Lakota culture that most people don't know? And I revealed at that time that we are mostly matriarchal. It's pretty given that the women, we were in charge of creating the homes, the teepees, doing the clothing, tanning the hides. Everything was made by our hands. In our culture, the women had the last say on everything because women were honored in our culture, because men recognized that from the minute they are born until the minute they die, it is the women who touch them and heal them and help them and support them and feed them and bind their wounds, change the diapers, coming and going. So we are the Mother Earth representative. They are the Father Sky, Grandfather Sky representative. So the joining of the two makes the wholeness. And in the days that we live now, women have forgotten their femininity. So you see a lot of women in CEO positions or business, and we've been taught in this dominant culture that we have to be just like men and tough and mean and bitchy and, you know, in your face kind of people.
Empowered is what they call it.
They call it empowered. But what's the best kept secret is our femininity is so much more powerful, so much more beautiful and healing and nurturing than anything we could do to try to force ourselves to be masculine. And when women and men both understand both the feminine and the masculine and balance that within themselves, then we become beautiful, light-filled beings that we are capable of being because we're in balance. So that's probably...
What pivotal moment in your life journey led you to where you are now, Bunny?
When I was a child, I've been having dreams my whole life, but the foremost dream in my childhood was that I was playing the flute and there were people following behind me dancing, and it was kind of like what come to find out a Disney movie or something, where we're walking this narrow winding path, and every place we stepped, the flowers were blooming and the trees were growing and the animals were coming. It was just a beautiful scene of healing and happiness and joy. And my secret friend when I was a child that was always with me was what I described to my dad, a big white elephant with lots of fur and cute curvy horns and no trunk. And that was always with me when I was growing up. And my dad said, well, that dream you're having is just the Pied Piper. You know, it's a Pied Piper story. I said, okay, what's the Pied Piper story? So he told me, and I said, no. That Pied Piper, so he even got a book and showed me, this is the Pied Piper. I said, no. The Pied Piper has this flute that's sticking out sideways from his mouth. And my flute is in front of me. I'm holding it with both my hands. And the Pied Piper's a guy. And this is a woman that's got to do this. That's me. I'm a woman. I'm a girl. And he just would shake his head.
And you play Native American flute, don't you?
Well, years later, I discovered what Native American flute was. Somebody I met at a music festival ended up making 9 of them for me with little white buffalo birds. And
wow.
When I grew up and came to the Black Hills, I knew I was home. And I discovered, oh, my childhood friend was a white buffalo. I'd never seen it.
And tell me about the white buffalo.
Well, it's just been my constant companion my whole life. So and it's taken me many years to figure out what that represents in my journey and my life purpose, because I discovered it's a very sacred symbol to the Sioux or the Lakota, Nakota. And then to find out that I'm related and that my ancestors are Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull and Chief Red Cloud and those people is like, whoa. And my parents hid this from me from day one. And my dad went to his grave, not because they were missionaries when I was born in Hollywood, they were traveling through. And back in the day, you have to understand that in 1949, when I was born, there were still signs everywhere. No dogs, no Indians allowed. To be Indian was to be bad. And I found out since that my grandmother, my mother's mother, had been to the Carlisle Indian School in Pennsylvania. And that's where she met her husband, who was a preacher. And it was the only way for our people to survive was to hide in the dominant culture and to immerse ourselves in that culture so that we would not be a target. Because again, back to Colonel Dodge, the whole idea of wiping out all those masses of buffalo in those few years was to kill the Indian, kill their food source. They'd done that in the war that they had just come from, the Civil War. And so you're doing that to the Indians. And the Indian schools were there for the purpose of washing the Indian out of us and making us white. And if they couldn't do that, then we weren't worth having. And as history continually tells, there were hundreds of thousands of indigenous cultures that were totally wiped out in a very short period of time. So the fact that I'm even here talking to you is a miracle. And then starting out from my childhood to have these dreams, and then over the years, gradually finding my way to the Black Hills, reconnecting with my relatives, learning some of the little tiny pieces and bits of culture that are still left to us has been just marvelous. And much of my teaching has been through dreams and the dream songs that have come to me over the years that all have beautiful lessons about the natural way. And what's really fun and fascinating and wondrous about my journey is I'm just so grateful to the natural world for informing me about these things and guiding me and leading me here, sometimes kicking and screaming because I didn't understand who I was, what I was doing, where I was going, or why. But walking barefoot on Mother Earth has always been my connecting point, and I've learned much.
Honey, when did you find out about your genetics?
Well, you and I did an interview several years ago with Chief Richard Dean Grass, and he was amazing in his why. I had no idea how I ended up meeting him or why he chose me to continue the work he had been doing. I've continued a website. He had me put that together while he was still living, and left everything to me when he passed. And
I'll never forget the day that he was supposed to have his interview, the last interview, because I got a call on a phone that doesn't work at 4:30 in the morning. And my husband says, "Why is that phone ringing?" And I said, "I don't know. It doesn't even work." And I picked it up and all it was static. But I remember telling you that, and you said, "Well, that's strange because he died. His daughter just found him this morning in the cabin." And I was thinking, oh, he was just being kind and apologizing for not being at his interview, maybe.
And I'll be right back with Bunny Sings Wolf on the Calling of Light.
Conscious media for conscious minds. Om Times.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Hi, my name is Anne-Marie Odell, and thank you for inviting me in for tarot and coffee. I offer 37 plus years of accurate, honest tarot channeling. Spirit comes through me as a feeling, an inner knowing. I call it the angel frequency. As you say your first name, I close my eyes and shuffle my well-worn card as I go into a deep calm. By phone, Skype, or Zoom, contact me at thecallingoflight.com.
This is Kathy Beal, host of Celestial Compass, featuring astrology you can use. Celestial Compass points you to what's going on in the sky and what you can do with it down here on Earth. We also explore fun, effective, and cosmic tools for navigating this adventure we call life. Join me the first and third Monday of the month at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for Celestial Compass. It's enlightening, entertaining, and empowering.
You came across someone struggling with hunger. How would you recognize them? Would you notice an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for
summer break because she may not be having lunch again until September?
Or a war veteran who's having a hard time landing a job
and getting back on his feet?
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
And we're back with Bunny Sings Wolf and the ghost voice of Richard Grass.
What does Spirit have to say to me?
That means, Great Spirit, help me towards the wisdom of finding some answers. And so that is one way of communicating with a Great Spirit. We do communicate with a Great Spirit with our peace pipe. We put that sensasa in that bowl, and when we light it, and when we smoke it, and when we pray, that smoke goes into the universe, into where the Great Spirit is, and then He listens to our wishes, and this is how we communicate with the Great Spirit. And people do not realize these things, you know.
Is that all right with you?
That was great. Thank you very much.
Richard, we have a call from Marie from New York. Marie from New York, do you wish a spirit reading?
Yes, I do.
You have anything to say in Lakota in reference to spirit?
Yes, this water in our land here is protected by little people. And the little people, they call them Iyawichasa. That means little bitty rocks, you know, that watch that water. So in turn, if you want to find out a few things, then pick a little rock anywhere. Pick up a little rock and put it in a warm place and keep it, even in your pocket. Talk to that spirit. That little rock is a spirit, and people don't realize these things. It's a living spirit. And then you ask it, and then you pray, and then you need help, and He'll help you, that little rock. People don't know these things. Iyawichasa, that means the rockmen. Omakya, that means help me. Spiritually, you are strong. And that means help me. This is the way I pray to you.
So, Bunny, you were talking about how everything is energy. And how that comes in powerful healing. Do you think traditional medicine is taking that seriously yet? Do you think that traditional medicine is starting to understand that?
Oh, yes. I just had lunch with a surgeon yesterday and his friend. And several of my clients are quite famous surgeons and medical professionals. And in talking with them, they're all coming to understand that one doctor told me every morning when he goes to work, he gathers all of his staff and they go around a circle and say what they're grateful for that day. And he said,
oh, wow, that is very cool for traditional therapist medicine, I would think.
He said if someone in his staff could not think one thing to be grateful for that day, they'd have a day off. They could go home and
and make something grateful.
Yes. So, and there's so many things on Netflix that tell us about all the new discoveries they're making about the interconnectedness of the human body and how we're interconnected energetically with everything else. And whether it's Zen Buddhism to Taoism and so many things, teachings in Christianity that are there but have just been covered over by the dogma that controlling people have added to this. But the interconnectedness of everything is coming out. It's like you can't stop people from understanding this if we're even half awake. We're coming into a huge awakening time when we're coming out of the toxic, fear-inspired, fear-based philosophy of material, trying to hang on and hold on and grasp to this free feeling understanding of total energy and love and nurturing and abundance and balance and harmony. And musicians and artists aren't the only ones who are knowing this now. There are many in the medical profession. I think this whole pandemic thing has opened a lot of hearts and minds when we've had to sit home by ourselves and be quiet and learn how to stop thinking and look at everything with fresh eyes and fresh heart. And sometimes that's the thing we needed. That's called cleansing, the healing process. You have to cleanse out the toxic and the disease and stop the thinking that is based on false notions in order to open up the door and let the fresh air come in and you go, oh, this is what this is really all about. So every lesson and every trauma and every difficulty and challenge is there as a teacher. And if we embrace those challenges and learn from them, the whole world opens up and we're all in this together globally now.
Yes, and also it seems so strange that at the same time we are opening up, there are those that are putting women back into the dark ages again. So, it is a very strange cultural phenomena as well, that the power of women is also, I think, reached such a strong, pivotal time that some men and some people have become afraid. And it seems as if we are suddenly being forced to go into the dark ages again.
Well, we live in a culture and a time when fear is the dominant emotion. And early on, many years ago, one of my dream songs is Love is a Power. And every time I used to sing it in concert, every time I hear it again, it is the message. Love is a power greater than fear. Love is a power greater than tears. Love is a power. Learn of its ways to power a new world and a new day. And in many faiths, you can't have the left without the right. You can't have the day without the night. You can't have fear without love. So we have reached a changing point where the people who are so fear-based and so toxic in their thinking, they're hanging on because they can feel the energy of love and nurturing and peace starting to shift. And in a lot of cultures and ideas, they say that, earth is going to change its axis. North is going to be south and south is going to be north. But I wonder if that isn't, even if it didn't happen literally, which they say scientifically it has in the past, that energetically, this is already shifting. And this is what the people who are based on fear and anger and destruction are fearful of. And there's nothing that can stop them, nothing that can stop the love from nurturing that back to health. And this is the message that I have spent my whole life in understanding and growing, and every song that has been written has been teaching and guiding us to this new awakening in so many tribes, healing people who have been gathering from Martin Luther King to John Lennon and his Imagine song, Gandhi, Mother Teresa. So many people have been building a foundation of love and hope and peace and harmony for a long time. And this is building and building and building and building. And there are so many beautiful groups of people who have been practicing peace within their communities. And we're getting to the pivotal point where all of these groups worldwide are going to be joining together and shifting that energy. And we'll look at each other and go, oh my goodness, there's so many more of us who are practicing peace than there are these people who are fighting these wars and hurting each other. So let's just take them by the hand and say, listen, guys, we've had enough of this. It's time for the day to follow that dark night. The left and the right need to be the one wholeness.
Love made the grass, love made the trees, love made the flowers, love made the bees, love made the fish, love made the deer, love made all breathing things, everything that's here. Love is a power greater than fear. Love is a power greater than tears. Love is a power, learn of its ways, to power a new world and a new day, and a new day. Love made the stars, the distant galaxies. Love made the moons, the suns, the vast seas. Love made the mountains and all their water streams. Love made the daylight, the night, and its sweet dreams. Love is a power greater than fear. Love is a power greater than tears. Love is a power, learn of its ways, to power a new world and a new day, and a new day. Love isn't jealous, love isn't greedy, love doesn't brag, doesn't use the needy. Love isn't boastful, it's not unkind. Love doesn't argue, it's good for heart and mind. Love is a power greater than fear. Love is a power greater than tears. Love is a ways to power a new world and a new day and a new day.
And you can't force that, but everybody's born with that knowing of love and nurturing, that is what we're here for.
Well, certainly it was inside the womb, wasn't it?
Well,
I mean, there couldn't have been anything but love and peace inside the womb, and it would be normal that every child expects that what was in the womb will be out there too, but it doesn't work out that way a lot of times. Tell me about your dream songs.
They always have come to me like 3 a.m, and
3 o'clock is your time, huh?
3 a.m, yeah. And most people who are creatives have that as their magic fairy time, you know. But I would wake up with this beautiful song and got to where I would write it down because I thought, oh, this is too beautiful to miss. And I missed a couple of great songs because they were so beautiful, they just kept playing over and over and over again. Didn't write them down, and oh my goodness, they must have been sent to somebody else because I missed them. Over the years, I've had about 400 of those kinds of dreams and written them down and recorded about, I can't remember how many CDs I've put together, self-produced. No income to do it, just did it my own, did the best way I could. No auto-tune, no backup band. And I just tried to send out my voice the best I could with what I had, because these were gifts given to me to pass forward. So they're just going through me. I'm just the hollow bone where these songs go, ooh. And they've never been popular. You can't dance to them. Come and play at our bar? No, you'd fall asleep before I got finished.
Yeah, that's the thing. Drunks and mellow music don't go together usually, unless it's a couple that is wanting to dance a slow one. But
well, those I have to say that about that bar scene, because I understand it too. But it's based on fear, and it's based on anger, and it's based on discord, and that's the only way people know how to cope. You know, their minds are going too fast. They want to self-medicate and slow it down. And it's still based on fear. And here's the beauty of it. Love is more powerful than all that. But it takes a long time, it's at least for me, to convince myself that is a huge power. That's what Mother Earth powers herself on. This is what the cosmos powers itself on, is love. That is creative. That is the manifester and the nurturer and the life force giver. And life is the norm. Death is just a notion that we've fed into our own wrong thinking to make us fearful. And the beauty of it is we are so interconnected with every other mineral, plant, animal ever known to man. And
is that your theory on death? That your theory on death?
Yeah, it's a transition. It's not. There's no thing is non-existence. We existed before, just in other forms. We're existing now, which makes this human life such a treasure and a wonder. And so many of us are wasting it now, it seems to be. But it's a learning. And then when we pass on, we continue. You have to ask yourself, when I say hello to myself, who's saying hello and who's listening? And more and more science is telling us that consciousness is something far beyond what we can even begin to comprehend. And who we are as light beings is so beautiful and so complete and so marvelous. And in the Lakota culture, we have all those pieces and parts in our culture, but even so many of our young ones and people living on the res and people who've moved away, and all of us had this. And this is why I wanted to wipe us out, because we represented love and life and nurturing and wholeness and interconnectedness.
Now I'll be right back with Bunny Sings Wolf on the calling of light.
The Real Conscious Connection. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Humanity Healing International is a small nonprofit with a big dream. Since 2007, HHI has been working tirelessly to bring help to communities with little or no hope. Our projects are not broad mandates, nor are they overnight solutions, but they bring the reassurance that no one is alone and that someone cares. To learn more, please visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
If I could be you,
and you could be me,
for just 1 hour.
If you could find a way
to get inside
each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
To the house of healing, home of Bear, the people came each year to heal the heart of nations everywhere. Mitaku ye oyasi is the medicine of Bear and the sacredness of living as a prayer. Here at Matoti, 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 politicians, profiteers, merchants, highwaymen came west to take away all that we had. They dug the earth, put fences in, put roads most everywhere, and called the sacred mountain something bad. language, history dispersed. The blessings of the natural ways were lost to look for gold. They told us that our natural way was cursed. Suffering we've endured, and all the evil ways they've done us wrong. Listen, nations, the vision speaks with teachings from these lands. The home of healing there still sings her song.
So, Bunny, tell me about your new app that you were excited about. What is going on there?
Well, about 6 years ago, I had a dream, and it's come back and back and back. And I'll just tell you the dream, because that's the introduction as to why the app came to me. The dream was that about 2,400 people gathered around the United States' first national monument called Devil's Tower, and we held hands. And it was filmed on everybody's phone, and there were drones filming it, and professional photographers all around the tower filming these people who were holding hands and holding the energy of peace, love, harmony, balance, and abundance for all of our relations, for Mitakuye Oyase. That means not just for us humans, but for the growing ones, the finned ones, the flying ones, the crawling ones, all of creation, the standing ones, the rocks, the stones, the grass, the deer, the elk, the giraffes. We were praying for all of Mother Earth and all of the things that Creator put here. And in my dream, people were amazed that they could hold hands. And people were watching it on their phones worldwide, and tears were streaming down their face as they were watching this on their phones and going, how could this be? Oh, this is so wonderful. Finally, we've arrived to this place of peace. And in that dream, human history shifted. Everybody woke up at the same time and go, this is what we were waiting for. We're all more powerful and more alive than we ever thought possible. Why are we putting up with all of these discords and arguments and fear and warfare and violence? And all of a sudden, just everything shifted. And the power of that love encompassed the whole earth. And so in this dream, I woke up and I told my husband, I said, this is weird. Why would people be afraid to even hold hands and think that might be against the law? Then to think that this could And because it was at this first national monument of the United States of America, we had in the dream proclaimed it to be the International Natural Monument to Humanity's Healing. I said, wow, that's so cool. How can this happen? And so I'm thinking, I wonder how many latrines we're going to need to ship bottles of water for who's coming. But then I thought, no, these people who come to do this have to be with one energy, one spirit. And how am I going to train that many people? How are that many people going to be in unity with one another and the oneness within themselves first, so we can be one as a whole? And so then I thought, so I talked to a lot of different people through the years, people who had these big organizations and staff and money and computers and connections. And how about this for something that could really make a change in the world? And they go, yeah, Bunny, that's pretty good. Well, whenever you do it, you just call us, we'll be there. I'm going, wrong answer, wrong answer. And I could not get anybody else to do this. And then the dream kept coming back and back and back. About 6 months ago. And then I have all these songs with all these lessons to teach people how to be one within themselves and one with one another and in good relationship with Mother Earth and all the natural ways. So it's just been a really interesting journey. About 3 years ago, my husband passed away, and in his passing, he said, never forget about your songs. Never forget about these. Because he said, people are going to be starving for this music at some point. The world just has to get in a worse place. It has to really get bad to balance out to this need for healing, this need for love. And it's taken me a couple of years to regroup after his not being there, because my major fan, music producer, supporter, 37 years, best friend, always there.
Oh.
So now I had to really get strong, and my heart broke in a gazillion pieces. And I realized that through every ounce of suffering and grief that encompassed, I have become so much stronger and so much. It's like,
isn't it the truth?
Yeah, you take all those little shattered pieces of heart that had been spread out.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Send out the little feelers. It's called fascia in my massage business, and that creates scar tissue, and it reaches out with its little roots and its little webs, and it starts gathering all those broken pieces. And when it's all reconnected again, your heart has so much more of a capacity for pain and so much more capacity for love and compassion and for nurturing others. So I realize now that huge loss was such a huge gain for myself and for humanity, because it's given me the courage and the wherewithal that before I pass on to the next realm, that this is the work I've been born for, is to join humanity in this healing. And in December, happened across a little webinar on my phone, which I never subscribe to. And they said, here, if you build an app, you can do this, 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 and this. And I go, boom! I signed up immediately, mortgaged my house.
Did you really?
Free finance my house, got all my 3 years of accounting and taxes done, hired it out so I could get that up behind me and start fresh and go, okay, this is my life goal now. I've got to help teach people about love and compassion and right notions. And an app is a way to do it, because I can put my songs in there, I can put the lessons in there, and people can listen to it 24/7. They can join in the app, and an in-app community, encourage each other. For the last 15 years, since I've had this Lakota, Dakota, NakotaNation.org website, I got that redone. And before I even knew about the app, I had paid somebody to redo it, because it was so, I couldn't even update it because of software wasn't supported anymore.
Yeah, that's a real problem with that. Yep.
And they did a beautiful job. And so that was already in the works when this app thing came. And so I thought, wow, now I can, at some point, I'm still working on the app, but I can put all the lessons there to help people find their own oneness. And then they can encourage each other. And for years, since I've had that website, people from all over the world keep emailing me. I think I'm Native, but I can't prove it. How can I prove it? Or I had one 2 months ago saying, I want to join your tribe. I want to give my life. I want to give my life to the Lakota. What do I do? Where do I go? Or people who wanted me put on the hill for what we call, they call a vision quest. I want to find that spirituality. And so I've emailed these people over the years and tried to encourage them and tell them, no, it doesn't matter what your blood quantum is. You are a spiritual being having a physical experience. We are all related. We're all part of the human family. And all you need to do is discover your own oneness. And then the rest of us who are one with ourselves become that huge humanity tribe. But it's the Lakota culture and teachings that have so much richness that can, in a pictorial, musical, art form way. And we can see art and music touch our heart a lot better than a long sermon. And so this is where our culture is so rich in the regalia and the medicine plants and the medicine pouches and the different designs in our artwork all speak about spiritual.
I was going to ask you, what exactly is a medicine pouch?
Each person, when we relate to the natural world and we've learned a lesson from it, it's a reminder of those powers that are there in the unseen, in the things that have been seen. Maybe
so would the things that are inside the medicine bag be symbolic objects of those lessons learned?
Yeah, and within those objects themselves, if we think of each thing as having energy or spirit, those spirits or those energies are contained in that representation there, that stone or that medicine plant or that feather. Those things are reminders as well as containers for that spirit, that energy that we carry with us in ourselves. So
I'll never forget Chief Richard telling me about stones and how every little stone that you're attracted to represents a relative or a spirit that is trying to talk to you. And when you pick it up, bring it home and put it on a shelf. And that the cruder they are and the more that unworked they are, that the more that they resonate with energy. And that, and I always thought, I've never forgotten that. Every time I see a stone now, I think of that.
Isn't that beautiful? And I have some of his stones. I mean, I inherited his stuff, and those stones still talk to me. He's right here with us, right here with me, just like all of my ancestors. They're here resonating for this shift. And they're working with all of us now to awaken us to this new way of being and this new piece that's shifting. The word came to me a couple of weeks ago. It's imminent. There's no question. The world is shifting to a place of peace that we have all prayed for it sometime or another. We've always wished for it. It's coming. How it's going to come is going to be the journey, and we're all on GPS. We know the destination is this world peace, but my prayer each day is to be able to follow whatever spirit energy directs me to as to how I can do my part in joining all these beautiful healing groups together to be present as that oneness for this event that's going to shift and awaken everything.
And what will the name of your app be?
It is Indigenous Healing, indigenoushealing.io. We are all indigenous to Mother Earth. It's not just about Lakota culture and teaching, although that's my perspective. That's from where my heart and my ancestors are guiding this. But people of all faiths can find their own oneness through what I hope to be sharing in this app, to just encourage each of us to awaken to that love and that peace and balance and harmony and beauty that we all are.
This chest.